Welcome to a brand new and incredibly challenging restoration project. Before us, it's an antique sewing machine, abandoned and completely encased in thick, hardened layers of dirt and deep rust. The craftsman begins a revival by using a scraper and a wire brush to aggressively remove the heavy crust covering the exterior, revealing the true extent of the decay. The machine is then carefully lifted off its rotting wooden base. The first major step in disassembly involves unscrewing the front faceplate to access the needle bar mechanism. As it is pulled out, we can see the internal components are dripping with decades old solidified grease mixed with rust. It is a messy, complicated start, but every great restoration begins with stripping away the forgotten past. During the initial inspection, the craftsman identifies that a crucial structural pin is missing or damaged beyond repair. Instead of looking for a spare, he decides to custom fabricate a brand new replacement part from scratch. The process begins by heating and hammering a piece of raw steel on an anvil. The metal is then secured into a precision metal lathe, where it is meticulously carved down to the exact millimeter required. We watch as the sharp cutting tool shapes the head and threads of this new tiny component. Finally, the newly machined pin is sanded and polished to a brilliant mirror-like finish. This remarkable display of traditional machining skills ensures that the machine will have a perfectly fitted, highly durable custom part for reassembly. With the custom part finished, attention shifts to the flat metal bed plate and slide covers, which are severely pitted from years of oxidation. The craftsman starts by using a powerful angle grinder equipped with a sanding disc to strip away the topmost layer of rust and old paint. Because the surface remains uneven due to deep rust pits, a layer of specialized automotive body filler putty is spread evenly across the metal. Once the putty has fully cured and hardened, an orbital sander is brought in. The machine smoothly sands a filler down, blending it perfectly with the bare metal. This meticulous preparation creates an absolutely flawless, glass-smooth surface, which is a strictly necessary foundation for a perfect paint job later on. Now, the real mechanical teardown begins. The craftsman proceeds to meticulously disassemble every single gear, connecting rod, and moving part from the machine's complex undercarriage. Because these parts have been fused together by decades of rust, brute force is not an option. Instead, he carefully applies intense heat using a blowtorch to expand the metal, followed immediately by generous sprays of penetrating fluid. This thermal shock breaks the rust grip, using specialized pliers and punch. The tiny locking pins are gently tapped out. The rusted bobbin winder assembly and the intricate stitch adjustment levers are carefully removed piece by piece. Every component is separated and organized, completely stripping the machine down to its absolute bare cast iron skeleton, ready for cleaning. Taking a brief pause in the metalwork, the craftsman turns his focus to restoring the original wooden base. The severely weathered and brittle frame is gently knocked apart using a rubber mallet, and all the rusted, stubbornly stuck nails are carefully extracted to fix the deep gouges and empty screw holes. He created a thick paste by mixing fine with sawdust and strong carpenter's glue, pressing it firmly into the damaged areas. After it dries, the entire wooden surface is thoroughly smoothed out using an orbital sander. Finally, a rich, darker stain is applied with a sponge, instantly reviving the beautiful natural grain. To complete the wooden component, a brand new, elegant crank handle is beautifully turned on a wood lathe. It is time to completely eradicate the rust. The main cast iron frame, now completely stripped of all its attachments, is submerged into a large plastic vat filled with a powerful chemical rust remover. As it soaks, the liquid penetrates the deepest crevices. After the bath, the process moves into the sandblasting cabinet. Using a high-pressure stream of abrasive media, the craftsman methodically blasts the main body, the large hand wheel, and various smaller mechanical plates. The abrasive powerfully strips away every last microscopic trace of remaining rust, old paint, and chemical residue. Watching the dark, decaying crust instantly vaporized to reveal the clean, raw, and pristine gray cast iron underneath is undoubtedly one of the most satisfying moments of the entire restoration. With the main part sandblasted, the craftsman moves to a bench grinder equipped with a dense wire wheel to process the dozens of smaller components. Every individual screw, bolt, and metal rod is pressed against the spinning wheel, rapidly polishing away dullness and leaving a bright, shiny finish. However, a few extremely stubborn screws still remain trapped inside the main cast iron body, refusing to budge. To tackle this, the craftsman employs a heavy-duty heat gun, directly blasting the surrounding metal to expand the threaded holes. Combined with more penetrating oil and a perfectly fitted screwdriver, he applies slow, calculated torque. Finally, with a sharp crack, the frozen screws break loose, ensuring the main body is completely freed from all its rusted captors. In this final stage of the deep teardown, the craftsman focuses on extracting the last remaining linkages hidden deep within the main frame, including the internal drive shafts. Using a wrench and specialized pliers, he meticulously unbolts the stiff, heavily oxidized rods. Once everything is fully separated, he takes the heavy, bare cast iron main body and presses it directly against a large, spinning wire wheel on the bench grinder. This aggressive polishing process smooths out the rough, sandblasted texture, giving the raw iron a brilliant metallic sheen. The intricate connecting rods and the needle bar mechanisms receive the same intense polishing treatment. Every single piece of this antique machine is now exceptionally clean, fully prepped, and ready for the upcoming reassembly. Now that the extensive deep cleaning is completely finished, the craftsman begins the highly delicate reassembly of the lower drive mechanism. He carefully installs a heavy main drive shaft, ensuring every single gear is perfectly aligned within the machine's sturdy iron frame. This complex task requires incredibly steady hands as he secures the small, vital locking set screws that hold the entire rotating shaft securely in place. With the main shaft perfectly positioned, he reattaches the intricate feed dog mechanism, which is absolutely vital for ensuring smooth, uninterrupted fabric movement later on. Every pivot point and sliding metal surface is generously treated with a precise drop of high-quality synthetic oil, ensuring that the critical metal-on-metal contact remains completely frictionless and heavily protected. Total attention now turns to the true business end of the machine, the intricate needle bar, and the brilliantly shining throat plate. The craftsman meticulously aligns the vertical needle bar, making absolutely sure it moves perfectly centered and straight through the small opening in the freshly polished throat plate. He carefully secures a needle clamp and the spring-loaded press-a-foot bar, tightening every single screw to the perfect factory-specified torque. Each individual piece is rigorously tested for play. There should be no unwanted wobble, yet the up and down movement must remain completely effortless. This hidden mechanical precision is the ultimate secret behind a professional-grade stitch. He completes this crucial section by mounting the decorative side faceplate, hiding the internal mechanics, and revealing the machine's iconic silhouette. The intense focus now moves entirely to the right side of the machine, where the large, heavy handwheel is ready to be reinstalled. The craftsman smoothly slides a balance wheel directly onto the main shaft and tightly secures it with a central locking bolt. He then expertly fits a brand new, stiff leather drive belt, making absolutely certain it sits properly and snugly right within the wheel's groove to create the necessary, consistent tension for smooth power transmission. Finally, he meticulously installs a complex stitch length and thread tension control assembly. This is exactly where he carefully calibrates the delicate spring tension for the upper thread, an absolutely critical adjustment step that will ultimately determine the flawless quality of the final sewing output. Right before the highly anticipated first sewing test, the craftsman performs a final, incredibly comprehensive lubrication routine across the entire system. Using a specialized, ultra-precise oil applicator, he manages to reach every single designated lubrication port clearly identified all over the vintage cast iron body. He slowly and deliberately rotates the hand wheel, carefully watching as the clear oil works its way deep into the tightly packed bearings and complex mechanical joints. He then gently wipes away any excess fluid, ensuring a perfectly clean, highly polished finished appearance. This final, essential tuning phase is absolutely critical to guarantee the ultimate longevity and durability of the entire restoration project. The machine is now completely silent, effortlessly smooth and perfectly balanced, ready to perform its original duty. This long and demanding restoration journey finally enters its most exciting stage, preparing the classic machine for actual operation. The craftsman carefully sets a fresh, vibrant spool of thread securely onto the upper pin and begins a highly intricate, multi-step process of properly threading the machine. The delicate thread seamlessly passes through the tight tension discs, gracefully loops around the moving take-up lever, and finally is carefully and precisely guided directly through the incredibly small eye of a needle. He then expertly prepares a lower bobbin and smoothly inserts it into the hidden race, ensuring the bottom thread is cleanly pulled up through the throat plate. Each deliberate, practiced movement beautifully reflects the immense care taken throughout this entire mechanical revival. The ultimate defining test of this entire complex restoration process is now completely at hand. The craftsman carefully places a clean piece of bright white cotton fabric directly beneath the lowered presser foot. He gently turns a heavy hand wheel entirely by hand to start the first few foundational stitches, then smoothly shifts into a remarkably steady, rhythmic sewing speed. The Reborn machine confidently runs with a crisp, wonderfully consistent sound. There's absolutely no grinding and absolutely no mechanical hesitation. The sharp needle effortlessly punctures the layered fabric perfectly, and the resulting stitch pattern is incredibly uniform, definitely proving that the internal mechanical timing is absolutely spot on. The thread interlocks flawlessly, and the fabric is fed forward perfectly evenly. This incredible transformative project beautifully concludes with a final, extremely close-up inspection of the outstanding craftsmanship. The resulting seam running across the white fabric is incredibly strong, perfectly straight, and fully professional, arguably looking as good as, or even better than, the machine's original, brand new factory performance. The craftsman proudly removes the fabric and thoroughly examines the tight stitch, happily confirming absolute, undeniable success. He gives the stunning machine one final, affectionate wipe down, leaving its glossy black paint and golden decals gleaming brilliantly under bright studio lights. From a completely rusted, entirely discarded pile of useless scrap iron, they've been triumphantly reborn as a fully operational, breathtakingly beautiful piece of living history, fully ready for many more decades